Last time we simmed up to the All-Star game, made some adjustments in the minors, finally got a trade getting rid of Carlos Ruiz, and played the whole All-Star game. This time, with the trade deadline looming, I want to make a couple of deals. So I was looking through our pitchers, and I think one of Hellickson and Morton has to go. There's just not room for both guys on this club. I really want to maybe get Oberholzer in the lineup, or in the rotation. Maybe take Eichhoff out, make him the long man for the rest of the season. It looks like he's struggling as a starter right now. Nola and Velazquez are each pitching well. And then Mark Appel and Adam Morgan have each put on pretty good numbers down in the minors. So I'll bring one of those guys up, maybe eventually taking over a spot in the rotation as well. So I was looking through the league leaders in AAA to find some of the power hitters down there. And I found in Kansas City's farm system, there's this guy, Cuthbert. I think his name might be Chris Cuthbert. I'm not sure. He's a third baseman, but his secondary position is first base. He's young, 271 with 7 home runs. Could be better, but such a young dude, and a corner infielder is just what we're looking for. As you can see, has pretty decent power numbers. Not a disgrace in the field. We could definitely start him over at first base. And his scouting report's pretty positive. So why don't we throw Charlie Morton after him? And to make up the rest of the money, let's see if we can take on Kendry Morales' contract. And we'll have to throw in one extra player to make this trade go through. Tyler Goodell, nice knowing you. Kendry Morales, 2 years, $8 million. Not nearly as bad as Ryan Howard's contract. I think we'll keep Morales through his deal. We probably won't be able to trade Ryan Howard. We'll probably cut Howard at the start of next season, and Morales will be our everyday first baseman until Cuthbert is ready. And I will make Cuthbert a first baseman in the minors. So let's see if this trade goes through. It's rejected. Tyler Goodell is really not a very good player. Teams won't want to take him on. So I am looking to open up another spot pitching in Double-A because I saw Alec Asher is actually the long man there. So I think I'll trade Sean O'Sullivan. He's old, not really part of our long-term plans, and he's a pretty decent pitcher for the minors. So that'll go through. So we'll get Cuthbert and Kendry Morales, and then let's do some calling ups and sending downs. So we wanted to let's bring up Mark Appel, see what he can do. And going down to the minors, now that we have Kendry Morales, let's see how Morales hits compared to Ruff. So Ruff's really good against lefties, the 52-60. He's actually a better hitter against lefties than Morales. I'm half tempted to demote Ryan Howard and just let those guys split first base, but it doesn't seem quite right. So who's our bat off the bench now? I really think it's Ruff, so geez, we need to send someone down to bring up Mark Appel. Since Crawford's on our Major League squad, we can send down Emmanuel Burris because him and Freddie Galvis kind of have the same job. Burris has pretty nice stats actually, but that's just as a pinch hitter, so it probably looks a bit inflated. Before I do that, maybe I'll try to trade Andres Blanco and see if we can get something for him, just get some sort of prospect for Blanco, and then we won't need to send either of those guys down. So let's go to the trade block, grab Blanco, Blanco's pretty cheap, I believe. I don't think he's on a huge deal or anything. Yeah, he's making the minimum, so he can really go absolutely anywhere. And I do want to get maybe a middle infield prospect for him. I think Maybe we'll check Houston since they have two very good middle infielders already. They can probably spare a prospect in the middle infield. This guy Kemp looks good. He's young, rated pretty highly, good speed, an okay hitter. Let's see if we can get Kemp for Blanco. Alright, we got Kemp. So, now that does open up a spot for us to call up Mark Appel. We'll send Kemp down to AA or to AAA for now. And let's see what everything looks like now. So we have the extra spot in our AAA rotation. That spot will go to... Oh, we might actually be calling someone up for that spot. So Asher gets the first spot here. David Buchanan will get called up to AAA to be a starter there. And in his place, we will send... maybe we'll send Kemp to AA, and he'll start in AA right away. So the pitching rotations are going to be on the Major League squad: Hellickson, Appel, Nola, Oberholzer, and Velazquez, with Eichhoff as our long man now. Looks like our bullpen is still okay. Jeanmar Gomez is struggling. That's 6.75 ERA. Looks like everyone else is doing pretty well. So maybe we'll send Jeanmar down and bring Andrew Bailey up. So we'll grab Andrew Bailey, who is pitching well, 2.54 ERA. Swap him for Jeanmar. Now our pitching rotation is the same, but now Andrew Bailey is our middle reliever instead of Jeanmar. In AAA, we've got Rosen, Correa, Billingsley, Buchanan, and Morgan. Morgan's the only one I really care much about what he's doing right now. He's the only young pitcher there. Rosen's pretty young, but I don't think he's really expected to be anything. Ditto for David Buchanan. We got to see him in real life some last year. Yeah, Jeanmar is my closer down here. I think that's a good idea. See if he can get it together there. In AA, let's see how guys are doing. So, Eflin's pitching well. Lively, Gonzalez, and Thompson are all struggling. Asher only just became a starter there. So maybe we'll call up Eflin and to take his spot in the AA rotation. Maybe we'll actually send Buchanan back down. Easy come, easy go for him. And we'll see if Eflin can perform at the AAA level after doing a pretty good job in AA. So Buchanan sent down. Eflin is brought up. And in single A, yeah, Buchanan's in there. Eflin's in there. Lovely. In single A, Matt Harrison's doing well, but that's to be expected. None of these guys are really of any great significance to us. So things look all right here. The closer's struggling, so why don't we throw Frank Herman in there? I think he's actually a closer in the system somewhere now, so that makes some sense. As for position players, let's go up to the Major League squad. So Aaron Sibia should still be getting the start over Morales, I think. Yeah, Morales isn't a really great hitter. Aaron Sibia hits better than him pretty much all around the board, so we'll leave that as is. In AAA, let's see. It would be nice for Moncada to get in the game somehow. Phelps is pretty old. He's probably not going to be our second baseman long term. And Hanley is, we just took him on because we had to take on his contract. So why don't we Just seeing if anyone's listed as older than 18 here. So Phelps is our oldest guy here. Hanley will be the one getting the worst treatment. He'll be benched. And Phelps will be playing out of position, so Moncada can play his usual position here. How old is Tyler Green? Green's old as well, so I'm not going to put him in instead of Phelps. And I'm not bothering with platoons down in the lower leagues. I think these guys should really be hitting as much as possible so we can really figure out what we have. That's not to say they won't platoon when they come up, but in the farm, I want them playing all the time. I'm glad to see Dalton Pompey is hitting already. We got him, I believe, in the Carlos Ruiz trade. Cody Ashe's hitting, unsurprisingly. And yeah, Alfaro got called up to AAA. In real life, he just got injured. Bad news after he was hitting quite well, I believe, in real life AA Reading. Speaking of, let's head down there. So Cuthbert's in our lineup. I do want Kemp in there somehow. So Kemp can play all around the infield. Alonso here is older, but he can also play all around the infield. So I think I'm going to do the same swap here where I move the older second baseman to shortstop and just take out our shortstop so Kemp can get in there. Alright, so Alonso and Kemp are both in every lineup now. Altair should still be riding the bench. Featherston is a bit older. I'm not sure if he really has a spot with so many other people still vying for that second base spot. The likes of Kemp, Alonso, even Darnell Sweeney's in the conversation. Moncada up there, so I'm not super interested in getting Featherston in the lineup. Duran, there's a lot of competition for middle infield ahead of him, so I'm not super worried that he's on the bench right now as well. As for outfielders, Destin Hood is actually pretty young. He's 26, so he's the oldest of the three outfielders I have going, but I do have him getting in at least as a DH just to see, just every once in a while he'll get at bats, but he's not a priority either, though he is hitting better than our other outfielders. Roman Quinn's really struggling at the plate. Nick Williams is kind of middling. Sweeney's hitting for average, but not for power, as to be expected with him. Hood is actually hitting the best of them, but he's the one I'm kind of least interested in seeing develop, unfortunately. At single A, I think everything's fine. We don't really have any pressing needs up there, so we traded away 2 guys, so I think we can sign 2 pitchers for our minors. Let's see where we're at. So we have 25, 25, 25. Oh, did we make even swaps? I could have sworn we got rid of people. Oh, I guess the squad's full, so we're actually okay there. Finally, let's look at the bats again. So, yeah, Aaron Sibia will stay in the platoon, or will stay as our everyday first baseman. Looks like Morales was sneaking in there on one of our lineups. Something weird is going on. So versus a righty, no DH. You know what? It's too important that we have a backup catcher. We don't want Aaron Sibia getting hurt while he's in the field and then risking Cameron Rupp getting hurt as well. So I think I'll leave Aaron Sibia as a DH or just out of the lineup. Maybe we'll platoon him with Ruff, since Ruff can actually hit the lefties. So we'll see Aaron Sibia against righties. Excuse me, we'll see Kendry Morales against the righties. And then against lefties, we'll have Darren Ruff in there. And Ryan Howard will just be a power bat off the bench. Cedric Hunter, just kind of speed and a defensive outfield replacement off the bench. Galvis can hit for some contact. Burris can hit for some contact. They're a little redundant as just backup infielders. They can both play either middle infield spot, but that's fine. Yeah, Ruff can play a little in the outfield. I think we're pretty much good to go on this team. I think this is the team we're going to roll with unless we get a trade offer before the deadline, which should be the end of the month, I believe. So why don't we sim up to this Dodger series, then maybe I'll pitch Mark Appel's next game. Oh no, that's not what I like to see at all. Cam Perkins, he was one of our best hitting prospects in AAA. He even had a cup of coffee on the Major League squad. I think I'll call up, maybe Destin Hood will take his spot after all that talk of him. So why don't we call up from AA to AAA. Hood. First we need to put Perkins on the DL. So, alright, so that's taken care of. Cam Perkins is out for the year, unfortunately. But that might be just the opening Destin Hood needs to maybe solidify a September call-up. He, like I said, he was one of our best hitters in AA, but just as one of our oldest outfielders wasn't someone I was prioritizing. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and he'll stand out now that he has a spot open for him. And we're hovering about 10 games under 500. I'm at like a B-, C+ manager rating. That's okay. I don't think I can get fired in the mode I set up. A trade offer. Jake Fox for someone at the same position and younger than Jake Fox. I'm almost definitely going to take this deal. Let's see what's happening with Anderson here. So he's just a first baseman. Looks like he's hitting pretty okay. Looks like he's a pretty good hitter. Okay fielder, but not great. I will absolutely make that trade. And that should assign our new guy to the spot that Fox was previously taking. It's the trade deadline, yes I know. Unfortunately it will pass without Ryan Howard getting even an offer. So the trade deadline is passed. I'm just checking who's up in the rotation next. Perfect, Mark Appel's pitching today. Looks like he's struggling already. Eichhoff got his ERA under 6 as the long man. I'm sure he's getting in there quite a bit with Appel as one of our starters, but let's try him out. He's got a 4-seamer. It's pretty good. And 3 equally bad. Curve, change, and slurve. They're not terrible, but none of them are great. Looks like Oberholzer's doing a pretty nice job as a starter. Let's see how that goes. I also wanted to see how Venable's hitting. He's new to our lineup since the last episode. He's hit some home runs already, and for our team, 265 is a pretty good average, for better or worse. Morales, 5 homers and 291, so he's really doing a good job. And J.P. Crawford, he's the man I wanted to see most. 2 homers, not bad. 283 average, pretty good. Let's see if he's stolen any bases. Just 1. So, why don't we get a game going with Mark Appel pitching for the first time. So we have Mark Appel going up against Clayton Kershaw. I wonder how this one's going to end. So everyone's well rested, ready to go. Darren Ruff is hitting cleanup today. Wow, interesting. Some trades have happened, it looks like, throughout the league. So Tabata's their center fielder in Dodgerland now. Seager, the all-star, Puig's in there. Howie Kendricks at second. Weird. Jock Peterson and Steve Van Slyke are both not in this lineup. Instead, Ethier is back as a starter, and Tabata is a Dodger. Dodgers ranked first, best in pitching, second best in hitting. We're ranked 30th, worst in pitching, worst in batting. But hey, our fielding and base running each outpace the class of the league Dodgers. Let's see what we can do in Citizens Bank Park. So, getting things underway, Tabata is up to bat first against Mark Appel. and they'll lead off with a hit. Tabata hitting 294, and that 90 speed scares me, especially with a bunch of good hitters in this Dodgers lineup. The 73-mile-per-hour slurve. Very, very interesting option for a pitch with Mark Appel. That time their batter stepped in toward the plate, I gave him the heat on the inside, so he was not ready at all. Let's see if we can get him with a curve on the outside and strike him out. Oh, he stepped out, but perfectly into the double play. Franco to Hernandez to Ruff. It's a combination we've not seen yet, mainly because I haven't played Darren Ruff much at all, but they got things done there, and now the bases are empty for number 3 hitter Andre Ethier, who's hitting 253. Very, very questionable lineup decision by the Dodgers. That one's over Crawford's head. It'll go to Venable. I like seeing Venable has the strong arm characteristic. That's a good one to have. I love having outfielders who can throw guys out. Now Carp coming up with 2 outs. Interesting to me, Appel's fastball, it hit 94 there. It looks like he's a mid-90s fastball pitcher. And then his off-speed stuff, here's a changeup. 74. He just varies speed. That might have been 78. It was right on the edge and I couldn't quite see it. But his slurve was mid-70s. So his off-speed stuff is a good 20 miles per hour slower than his fastball. I'm glad I'm not hitting against him because that's a pitcher I don't like to see where the pitch types are so different in speed. But interesting to control, seeing, you know, these looping off-speed pitches. Really afraid they'll get hit. Now full count, 2 outs to Matt Carp. I'm not even sure if he really is a Dodger. He very well may be. Couldn't get him with the inside fastball. I think I'll try the outside fastball. Appel's best pitch is this fastball, so I'm going to keep going to it when I'm in tight spots. Oh, couldn't get the out at second. I mistakenly tried, even though obviously the runner was going with 2 outs in the full count. But Hernandez turned it quickly, got it over to Ruff, and put the inning away. So let's see what this lineup can do. Odubel Herrera, the only hitter with 10 home runs. Leading off against Clayton Kershaw is going to be gorgeous Peter Bourjos, who is the hero in the last game of the homestand for the Phillies, where they beat the Mets. He was also the guy who scored the run in their only win against the Nationals earlier in the homestand. So a couple nice trips in a row for Bourjos in Citizens Bank Park, but grounding out there. Hernandez up next. Kershaw is going to be hard to hit. You can see he has the 2.79 ERA. I thought it would be even lower. It seems like pitchers, good pitchers in this game, really put up phenomenal stats. So, not that 2.79 is bad, but I was expecting something like, 150 for Clayton Kershaw. Struck out with Hernandez. Herrera's up now. Up the middle, ground out. That's 1, 2, 3 for the Phillies. Let's see if Mark Appel can keep it clean now with Yasiel Puig coming up to bat. Puig has my 2 favorite cold spots. He has the cold spot up and in, where I love to throw a fastball. He has a cold spot down and away, where I love to throw a curveball. So you can guess what I'll be throwing to Puig, and looks like he can't guess. That 80-mile-per-hour curve on the outside gets him. Let's see if we can put him away with the high heat. Oh, tried to paint the black, but it got called a ball. Tempted to throw it right back there. Maybe I'll throw a changeup right back there. Oh yes, that changeup really dropped too. Bit of a gravity ball changeup and it gets him. So my first strikeout of the day. Appel takes care of Puig, but now the hard-hitting rookie Corey Seager is at the dish. We just played as him when we did the All-Star game last episode, and he gets a single off of Appel. So now with 1 out and a speedy runner over on first. Murphy's coming to the plate. I'm not really sure who Murphy is. Hernandez gets 1, but Crawford gets taken out. No Chase Utley rule will save him here. And oh, yeah, that would have gotten called. Yeah, Seager really stuck his legs out to get Crawford to break up the double play. Now Howie Kendrick at the plate with 2 outs. Appel looking to put away another scoreless inning. And the curveball low gets Kendrick to strike out. So once again, another inning without giving up a run for Mark Appel. Darren Ruff, the first hit of the ball game for the Phillies in the cleanup spot, making the most of his platoon with Clayton Kershaw on the mound. And Cameron Rupp lines one into the gap. Puig gets there in time, but he cannot catch it on the dive. So, the fast-thinking Darren Ruff there, able to move all the way to third base. Not normally a good idea to test out Yasiel Puig, but it looked like he was kind of turned the wrong way anyway. So now runners at the corners for Crawford. And the slow roller gets picked up to start the double play. But Darren Ruff will score the sacrifice double play from J.P. Crawford. Cameron Ruff sliding into second like a civilized human being. And it looked like Crawford was going to beat that one out, but I won't argue it. Michael Franco now at the dish with 2 outs, but we have the 1-run lead. Who would have thought the Phillies would get on the board against Clayton Kershaw before the Dodgers could score on Mark Appel? And Franco sees one he likes on the inside, rakes it to left field. That's a double easily. He'll stand up into second. So now 2 outs and a man on second for the Phillies. They are still threatening with Will Venable now at the dish. And Venable fights that one off and chops one, but Kershaw can't quite catch up to it. So now runners on the corners. Everyone looked uncomfortable there. It was way in on Venable's hands, tied him in a knot, but Kershaw couldn't snag it out of the air, kind of tried to go for it with his glove, then went with the bare hand, and nothing really worked. So now runners at the corners as Mark Appel comes to the dish. He could be the hero here and drive one in for himself with Franco over on third. But a pitcher, especially a rookie pitcher, going up against Clayton Kershaw, that's a tough ask. Oh, Mark Appel almost gets it done, but Howie Kendrick able to pick that one out of the air on a hop. So now 9-1-2 will bat for the Dodgers as the Phillies have a 1-run lead. Appel now facing Kershaw. At least Appel made some contact when he was at bat. Let's see if Kershaw can do the same now. And Kershaw fouls it off over toward third base. Franco's able to get under that one for the first out of the inning. Tabata, who got a hit the first time through as the leadoff man, is up once again now with 1 out in the third. Tabata grounds out lazily over to Ruff. He can take care of that one, no problem. So now, Arubarena is at the dish. I could have sworn someone else was batting second the first time through the lineup. One way or another, Venable takes care of that one, and we are through 3 innings. Phillies leading 1-0. Now going into the bottom of the third, Borges leading off once again. Not a good look on that swing. Got fooled, as so many hitters do, by Clayton Kershaw. And the count is 0-2. Pitch said come and get it, but the batter could not find 2 strikes now to Borges, just trying to keep the at-bat alive. Hit to the left side. A slow hit grounder towards third, and he can't quite leg that one out. A great throw over from third to put away Borges. Now Hernandez coming up. Hernandez hits it way up toward third base, an easy pop-up. 2 quick outs for the Phillies, and now Odubel Herrera at the plate. Herrera gets the liner right up the middle, splits the infielders, lands in front of the center fielder, so Herrera with 2 outs is now on first base, and he's taking a big lead over there. And he's going, and the throw is not on line. A little bit wide there, and Herrera takes second. Now Darren Ruff with a runner in scoring position. He scored a run earlier and looks like he'll drive in another here. Herrera coming around. It's going to be a play at the plate. They won't throw home. They'll keep Darren Ruff on first base. Odubel Herrera scores the run, and the Phillies are now up 2-0 on Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. Cameron Rupp once again getting a hit. So Ruff will go to third base. Cameron Rupp will go to second, and the Phillies still threatening 2 runners in scoring position for the hard-hitting rookie J.P. Crawford. He has a chance now to drive in 2 and maybe put this one in the bag for the Phillies early on. Oh, Kershaw gets him with a high curveball. Fools Crawford there and strikes out the man to get out of the jam in the 3rd inning. But not before the Phillies scored a run. Now, at the top of the 4th, it's 2-0 in favor of the home team Phillies. Franco way out past the foul line. A really tough throw there and pulls Darren Ruff off the base, but Ruff able to just get a toe on and get the out to put away Andre Ethier. So now 1 out, and Karp will come to the plate. Oh, that one is past Crawford. Crawford maybe could have got that one if he laid out, but keeping his feet and unable to get there. So now a man on first, and Yasiel Puig in his 2nd at-bat of the game. And Puig hits that one between the first and second baseman. So now 2 on and 1 out for the Dodgers, looking to make up that 2-run deficit. Corey Seager now batting. Crawford catches up to that one, tries to double up the man at second, but unable to get there in time. So the catcher Murphy coming to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on. And he will strand them both. Hernandez with the toss over to Crawford to put away the 3rd out of the inning as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Phillies up 2-0. Franco pops out on the first pitch he sees of the at-bat. So Will Venable coming to the plate. Venable grounding up the middle. Kershaw is giving me a lot of pitches to hit here, but not a whole ton to hit well. So Mark Appel coming up with 2 outs. He was actually able to make contact last time, and he does it again and gets a hit. Mark Appel getting a hit off Clayton Kershaw, getting the better of him on both sides of the ball game today. Mark Appel doing a great job for himself, with Peter Borges coming up next. And he gets me on 3 straight curveballs on the inside. Fooled me all 3 times. So, the Phillies are still up 2-0, but they'll strand 1 on as we head to the top of the 5th. Ali Kendrick gets things started with a grounder right back toward the pitcher, rolls off the mound and gets past the middle infielders. No real chance for Appel there. No real chance for Hernandez at second. So, the Dodgers now have 1 on and none out. Clayton Kershaw will come to the bat, and we are expecting the bunt. Fouls off another, so Kershaw, let's see if he'll have the green light to swing here, or if he's going to be told to bunt with 2 strikes. Kershaw strikes out swinging. Mark Appel just getting the better of Kershaw again and again, just about every way imaginable now. Kershaw's got to be feeling bad. The rookie striking him out, getting a hit off of him, and pitching better than him for the most part here. Hernandez lets that one bounce, and that will start too as he dishes it over to Crawford, who hurls it to Darren Ruff to put away the base runner. Not an easy base runner to get out there in Tabata, but the Phillies end it with the double play as we head toward the bottom of the 5th. Phillies up 2-0. Hernandez getting one in on the hands and almost getting hit there. Had time expecting one on the inside and having to reach out for it. Bad pop-up by Cesar Hernandez to start things off, but now Odubel Herrera coming to the plate. In real life, Odubel Herrera finally seeing more time as the leadoff hitter for the Phillies. He's really become one of the most disciplined hitters on the team, taking a ton of walks, and that's a great sign. That's a great way to get hitting at the top of the order, but the pop up there will put him away and give us 2 outs as Darren Ruff steps to the plate. But Kershaw strikes him out with a fastball, high and inside. It's a pitch I normally like to hit, but Clayton Kershaw relying on the curveball so much in this game that his fastball has become a bit deceptive. So we head to the top of the 6th, Phillies up 2-0, and the second hitter, who I cannot pronounce the name of, gets a hit all the way to the wall on Peter Borges. He cannot throw him out at third, so the leadoff triple starts things off quite nicely for the Dodgers. I might have been able to keep him at second if I got the relay throw in there quicker. I didn't expect him to be taking off, thinking 3 all the way, and he gets it. Hernandez makes the mistake of throwing home, and he'll get neither man. Very weak throw home, and it looks like their man would have gotten in there safely one way or the other. He had quite a good slide going there. So now, Phillies lead cut in half. Dodgers getting their first run on the board, and with no outs and a man on first, they continue to threaten here in the top of the 6th. Herrera can't catch up to that one, so it'll be 2 on for the Dodgers. Matt Carp getting the hit there and setting things up for Puig. And Puig takes advantage, rakes the home run out to left field, way over the head of Venable. Pulls it right down the line there. Does a nice job reacting to the inside pitch and driving it a long way. That low inside fastball, but Puig just such great hand strength, able to clear the bases, and the Dodgers are now up 4-2 in the top of the 6th. And that's got to hurt Mark Appel's confidence. He had been dueling Clayton Kershaw, and quite admirably so far, getting the better of him for the most part. But now, Phillies find themselves with a 2-run deficit after leading early on. I think if Appel gets out of this inning, it might be his last. Seager pops it up to Borges to give us out number 1 of the inning. The catcher, Murphy, getting the line drive hit up the middle. So now 1 on, and Kershaw, 1 on for Howie Kendrick, hitting 8th. J.P. Crawford catches up to that one. Might have done better to drop it intentionally and start 2, but just had to react so quickly there that the ball kind of caught him. So 2 outs, and the pitcher spot is up. Clayton Kershaw, who failed to lay down the sac bunt earlier and instead struck out swinging. Let's see what he can do now against Mark Appel. Appel's pitch count, if he can get Kershaw out, will probably be right around 60. So, considering warming someone up for the 7th, but leaving Appel in, seeing what he can do against those batters. And the slow roller up the middle gets past the diving Cesar Hernandez. Clayton Kershaw manages to get a hit, and the lineup will start anew. Tabata coming up, so the Dodgers have batted around here in the 6th, and maybe we will be shutting down Appel after all. Crawford catches up to that one and puts him away. So all 9 hitters came up. Appel's pitch count now at 61, and it looks like we're going to bring someone up in the bullpen. Let's bring up Andrew Bailey, who's been spending pretty much the whole season in AAA. Looks like he's struggling in the majors now. 10 strikeouts, but 7.5 ERA. We'll bring him in anyway. Cameron Rupp drives that one toward right field, but Carp ranging way back, able to catch up to that one. An athletic play by the first baseman. Now Crawford up with 1 out. Crawford strikes out looking. The curveball on the inside fooled him. Left his bat on his shoulders. So out number 2 of the inning, and Maikel Franco coming up to the dish. Franco pops that one way up toward Carp, and that'll be out number 3 of the inning as we head into the bottom of the 6th. And now, Arrubarena, who was Mark Appel's nemesis in the last inning, will start things off. Phillies are leaving Appel in, seeing how he handles the 7th inning. He can get through this one cleanly. It'll be his last, but Andrew Bailey still in the bullpen, ready to come in if something goes wrong. So the grounder over to Ruff, who manages to grab that one and step on the base. Heads up play by Ruff. Great awareness of where he was over there. So out number 1 to start things off as Ethier comes to the plate. Ethier gets the grounder up the middle. And now Appel giving up a base runner. Let's see how he's responding. Pete Mackanin going to talk to him. And Mark Appel just stone-facing it. So I guess we'll leave him in if he's not too bothered, even with the manager going to talk to him. But we let him know he's on the short rope now. Karp getting the hit, and that will do it. Yasiel Puig, who had the home run off Appel in the last inning, will not get a chance to face him again. They're bringing in Andrew Bailey. Andrew Bailey with that fastball on the inside got way ahead of Puig there. Let's see what else Bailey has in his arsenal. The off-speed pitch gets Puig to ground it toward third. That'll be good for 1 out, as Franco has to wait on it before grabbing it and stepping on the base to get the lead runner. So Bailey still has 2 on, but now 2 outs as Corey Seager comes to the plate. Corey Seager lifts that one to the outfield. It's going to be a tough one, but Herrera catches up to it and makes the shoestring catch to put away the inning. So Bailey, not even throwing 10 pitches. He might... his spot's coming up in the lineup next, so actually we will be shutting him down. We'll let Neris throw the rest of the game. Will Venable starting things off with the blooper toward left. Looks like the left fielder dropped that one, but it was a hit anyway. So Venable starts things off with a single, and we will bring in the pinch hitter against a lefty. Who is it going to be? Against Clayton Kershaw. Let's see what JP Arancibia can do. He is our best hitter on the bench. No doubt about it. No matter who's pitching, he's probably our best hitter on the bench. Arancibia splits the infielders and gets the single. So now 2 on and none out as Peter Borges comes to the plate. Borges waits on the curveball on the inside. And will that be enough to drive in 1? They are not going to... Oh, no. Getting caught in a rundown, not a great look. And he will run into the catcher there. Heads up play, though. The other 2 runners advancing as there's a collision at the plate. Is that Franco? Oh no, Will Venable colliding at the plate, and that actually hurt their catcher. They're bringing in a backup catcher. So now 2 runners in scoring position. Even though we made the first out of the inning, Cesar Hernandez has 2 on with just 1 out. And that deficit's only at 2, so the tying run, Peter Borges, is at second base, and he is fast. That'll score 1 as Cesar Hernandez grounds out. Now Peter Borges over at third with 2 outs. Herrera, a chance to tie up the ball game with a hit. Herrera hits that one into the gap, and Herrera will get the tying run home, driving in Peter Borges with a nice liner right over the shortstop's head. Darren Ruff coming to the plate with 2 outs, and the go-ahead run over at first in Odubel Herrera. Herrera getting caught between bases, though. Tries to steal, realizes it's a bad idea. Very bad way to end the inning. But he did bring in the run, and now, with the game all tied up, Hector Neris coming in now in the 8th inning. Interesting decision by the Phillies to bring in maybe not one of their most trusted relievers, with Russell and David Hernandez both in that setup man role, instead bringing in Hector Neris with the game tied. Backup catcher Zaraga, this is his first plate appearance. It looks like he's yet to get a major league hit, and he won't get one there as he strikes out just watching 3 straight fastballs on the inside. Can't get your first hit of the season without swinging the bat. Howie Kendrick now up. And he will ground it right over to Darren Ruff, get the 2nd out of the inning. Kenley Jansen is warming up in the bullpen, so David Murphy will come in. Clayton Kershaw's day is done. He will not end up with a decision. Murphy skies that one, gives Herrera plenty of time to get under it, so a 1-2-3 inning for Neris in the 8th. Kenley Jansen coming in, and he will face Darren Ruff. Looks like the Phillies might pinch hit now that the righty is on the mound, and they will indeed bring in Kendry Morales to play first base, and hitting for Darren Ruff here. Morales skies it, but over toward third, an easy out. First out of the inning. Cameron Rupp coming up. Rupp gets a piece of that one, but hits it over towards Seager, who makes the nice play and gets the second out. And now, J.P. Crawford coming up to bat once again. He hits it over toward first. It's going to be a play at first, and J.P. Crawford not able to beat the pitcher, slid in there in case he went for the tag. And he would have had me one way or the other there. So 1-2-3 inning for Jansen. Now the top of the lineup coming up, and Neris is staying in there. The Phillies have James Russell warming up in the bullpen in case there's trouble or in case there's a tough lefty coming up. But right now, Neris, after the 1-2-3 inning, is trusted to throw in the 9th in the tie ball game. And that one once again getting past Crawford, who refuses to dive. Hope this doesn't become some emergent gameplay where Crawford is just absolutely refusing to dive for anything over at shortstop. It's kind of part of the job at the position. But anyway, one on and no outs in the top of the 9th here for the Dodgers. A tough play there. J.P. Crawford tosses it to Cesar Hernandez. Hernandez able to record the out and gets absolutely demolished by the runner sliding in. And Don Mattingly, who is somehow still the Dodgers manager, is going out to argue. He won't get tossed, doesn't get too heated, so he will stay in the game. Andre Ethier, who is 3 for 4 today, coming to the plate with one runner on. And he hits it right up the middle. I really should have considered bringing in Russell there, but I was trusting what Neris was doing. So now, let's see if Russell's ready to go. He is. James Russell coming in against Karp, the lefty. See if we can force our advantage here and maybe start 2 to end the inning. Crawford to Hernandez to Kendry Morales. The double play, putting away the inning. James Russell throwing one pitch. He's in that loogie role, that lefty-only specialist role as a setup man. In real life, he just got designated for assignment, actually, as Andrew Bailey was called up for the Phillies. Russell was struggling in the loogie role. Franco now, in the bottom of the 9th, starts things off with a ground out to Mike Karp. Will Venable coming up. He had a hit early on and also had that plate collision that might have been the deciding run had he scored. Will Venable strikes out Kenley Jansen, getting him with the high and inside pitch, and we absolutely cannot leave Russell in for the foreseeable future. So David Hernandez will warm up. I'm just not the type of player to want my closer to go in a non-save situation. Why don't we bring in Ryan Howard, even though it's 2 outs and he's a strikeout threat. He's also such a threat to hit a home run and win us the game. Or instead, the lazy grounder up the middle and gets one runner on. Half tempted to leave in Ryan Howard just as a power threat, but I really don't like the idea of bringing out Morales. It's not like we're getting all that much better of a hitter, so why don't we pinch run here? Just in case there's a hit, Emmanuel Burris will pinch run for Ryan Howard, a much, much faster runner. And they pitch out, and they saw what I was up to. I wanted to try the hit and run with Borges and Burris. Instead, Burris getting thrown out. Now as we head into the top of the 10th, our first extra inning game, free baseball on Phixin the Phils. David Hernandez is coming in to pitch. Yasiel Puig skies that one, and Cesar Hernandez has plenty of time to get under it. Corey Seager battling here. I think that's 4 foul balls in a row. And he grounds out to Kendry Morales after a hard fought at bat. Now the backup catcher, Zaraga, who still has that average of 0, actually swinging the bat for the first time in the game though. Zaraga pops it way up to Hernandez. 1-2-3 inning for Hernandez. The pitcher, David Hernandez, that is, as the top of the lineup comes up in the 10th for the Phillies. Kenley Jansen still in there, pitching his 3rd inning. Let's see if the Phillies can take advantage of the closer trying to go long here. Borges rips a grounder past the first baseman. Maybe if Burris didn't try to go, that could have put the game away in the 9th. Instead, Borges now on with Cesar Hernandez at the bat in the 10th. Borges getting picked off over at first base. Barely taking a lead there, but caught napping. Jansen with a great throw over to Carp, who applies the tag, so 1 quick out for the Phillies, and that's not how you like to record your first out in extra innings. And that makes it 2 as Hernandez grounds out to second, and Odubel Herrera now up with 2 outs instead of just the 1, and he hits it a long way. That probably would have scored Peter Borges had he not gotten picked off. Odubel Herrera getting the first hit of extra innings here. Kendry Morales could hit him home. Herrera is a very fast runner in his own right. Morales hits it right down the line, and that will score Odubel Herrera. The Phillies will win this game in 10 innings. They needed an extra one, but Kendry Morales, the liner to drive home Odubel Herrera in the bottom of the 10th, means the Phillies beat the Dodgers in the Mark Appel-Clayton Kershaw pitcher's duel game. Looks like David Hernandez will get the win here, and Kenley Jansen will get saddled with the loss. The Phillies winning past the All-Star break into August. We've made some adjustments in this episode. Hopefully we'll make some more adjustments, keep bringing in the young guys, seeing what we have in this team, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.